Call to order. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Open Public Meetings Act statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law is enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies of which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the Augusta, Branchville, Lafayette, and Sussex post offices, and notice sent to the New Jersey Herald, Star Ledger, and the clerk of the boroughs of Branchville and Sussex and the townships of Frankfort, Lafayette, and Warren. Mission statement: High Point Regional High School, in partnership with staff, family, and community, is dedicated to the quest for individual excellence. By fostering high standards of achievement, we prepare students to become responsible and productive members of a diverse society. Roll call.
Mrs. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Ancliffe is not here. Mr. Dunn.
Here.
Mr. Kehoe. Present. Mr. Miller is not here. Mr. Notaro. Here. Mr. Rowland is not here. Mr. Veely.
Here.
Mr. Boyku.
Here.
Dr. Ripley.
Here. A motion will be made at the High Point Regional High School Board of Education enter executive session to provide an update on personnel negotiations and legal items which are exempt from public participation pursuant to New Jersey Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Open Public Meetings Act. Any discussions held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public when appropriate. The minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session in the cafeteria annex at the conclusion of the executive session. I need a motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion to return to public session.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We move on to the approval of minutes of the regular meeting minutes of November 21st, 2017, and the executive session minutes of November 21, 2017. Need a motion?
So moved.
Discussion on the approval of minutes? Roll call.
Mr. Notaro.
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe.
Yes.
Mr. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Boyku.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Veely.
Yes. Presentations, Dr. Ripley.
Well, we have a board member who is leaving us this evening after 6 fascinating years on the board. Someone who had seen 3 superintendents, numerous board members, someone who was the head of the finance committee for years, really a tremendous asset to the board. Mr. Charlie Rowland has stepped down, and we've elected, the community in Frankfort has elected another board member. But tonight would have been Mr. Rowland's last board meeting. He could not attend this evening. When he got on the board, I was director of curriculum, and he has been, as I said, not only an asset, but a source of strength, reason, calm, and dignity, and someone who I respect greatly. I believe that the board respects, and I think that the community should hold in high esteem, because if you've ever been to multiple board meetings, the jazz ensemble is lovely and beautiful, but there are moments when board members endure difficult times, and they receive no remuneration for this, and they spend countless hours. And what we don't ever consider is board members, not only are they here on board meetings and at committee meetings, but when they're out in their community, when they're at the the Acme or the ShopRite, or they're at a local family picnic. They endure questions because they're elected officials. And there's a degree of passion that one must have for your community and for the school and for education at large. And Mr. Rowland demonstrated that. A staunch advocate of High Point, a graduate, an alumnus of High Point, and someone who the board will miss, I will miss, and someone who should be very proud of his service to his community and to the district. And I congratulate him and I thank him for his years of service.
We'll move on to Student Council. Lisa Popner, Speaker of the House, will update us on Student Council.
Hello. Recently, the Student Council has been bringing in non-perishables and canned goods to every meeting for the Fill the Bus on Thursday. We also decided the Spirit Week, which started on Monday. Monday was PJ Day. Tuesday, which is today, was Santa Hat Day. Wednesday is Ugly Sweater Day. Thursday is Sock Day and Reindeer Day. And Friday is Hawaiian Christmas. The Student Council has recently concluded the holiday decorating competition and the holiday bazaar. The winner of the holiday decorating was the sophomore class with the theme of the Polar Express. And at the holiday bazaar, which was held on December 8th and 9th, we were very successful despite having to end an hour early because of the snow. But we raised over $1,300 for the state charity. Thank you. Have a nice holiday.
Elisa, I just want to say, where Dr. Ripley just said that people in the community come and talk to us about issues. A gentleman spoke to me the other day at the gym. He was at ShopRite, and you guys are doing Fill the Bus fundraising and buying food. Oh, Walmart. I'm sorry, Walmart. He said, those girls were so lovely and so friendly that I gave them money, and I'm so proud of them for being out there. So we get good things too. So thanks for being out there, and thanks for doing the Fill the Bus.
Thank you.
HPEA, Parliamentary Council President of the HPEA, will update us on those items.
Good evening, everyone. I meant to have a meeting with Mr. Talamay today, but he was too busy doing Tilly's. Yeah, Tilly's kids. So I'm not going to steal his thunder, and I just agreed with him. We're going to change the format of the HPA reporting to the board. Okay, it's our school together, and he's our leader, and it's his honor to honor us. On another note, something open to the public. HPA has sponsored Optical Academy, which will be here February 1st. It's open to everyone in our community. So we put it out to all the Sussex County schools, anybody, your families, your friends, and I'll be passing that information on to the board via email, but we have our flyers here. You'll need to register to have an appointment, and it's February 1st from 12 to 8 p.m. So as long as you have an appointment, $30 for your eye exam, you can turn in your old glasses and get new glass. I mean, it's a great deal. So we'll be putting that out, and thank you for Christina Di Matteo for doing that personally. Thank you. We also would like to invite the board to our HPA winter party. That's all of you. And that's all. Our HPA party. And I have the invitations here, and I'll pass it out to the board.
I'm just going to say, Carla, when is it? I'll be there.
January 27th.
January 27th.
I have new location, new catering. I switched it up a little bit.
Right. I'm sure it'll be great. Always is.
Yes, we welcome all of you to and we want to thank you for your support. Also, we want to thank Dr. Ripley for coming to be held an open forum with us to hear our concerns about the school and moving forward and starting a new year on a proper foot. And I would like to thank all of you for your service. You folks are not paid, and you have big shoulders, but there's a lot on your shoulders, and we appreciate it. So everybody have a good holiday, and we'll see you in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Principal's report, Mr. Talamay.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Okay, we got a lot of exciting things going on. As we just heard the Jazz Ensemble rocking out for us a little bit and performing when they came in. We have also a wrestling match going on currently on the other side of the building against Mount Olive. So if I get any live stream updates, I'll keep posted on that. I wanted to just say thank you to the Board of Education and to the administration and staff for the holiday party on Monday. It's always a nice time to get together and for us to be able to enjoy each other's company. It's a special time here at High Point, and there's so many things going on the holidays, from Tilly's Kids to talk about a little bit to those types of events. So thank you very much for that. It's definitely a nice time to come together as a group and as a staff, enjoy that time together. Performing Arts has been very busy. If you've been following along on Twitter, you've seen that happening. I don't even know the number of hours they spend out in the community throughout the month of December. It started December 1st at Carnegie Hall. It will wrap up tomorrow. They'll have their final performance for Chamber Singers, which will be at the Newton Rotary. They were at the Walkhill Rotary. They've been at the Presbyterian churches in several different locations, several different parts of the county. They also performed at other local events. They spent a tremendous amount of time in the community. Mr. Carter does an outstanding job with that. Both the Jazz Ensemble and Chamber Singers were both on WSUS as well. So if you caught that, that was a week away from each other in terms of both those performances. That was a great opportunity for them as well. We also, in between there, we had the Candlelight Concert, what we call the Holiday Pops Concert, which is more the contemporary type of style music, and both of those were in the same week as well. So they have been very, very busy, and kudos to them for all they do because they are the face of High Point. The Hour Code is going on. That took place in most of the Senate districts. That was led by Mr. Brian Drellick, Mr. Dexter, Mr. Emma, Mr. Ducko. All went down to Senate districts and worked with them through our AP Computer Science Principles class. And really got the kids interested in code and what that means. And they worked with very simple devices, and we're able to actually through their phones develop the software for those, and actually that went very well. So that was a great opportunity, and all the teachers that came back said that the students were very excited for them to be down there and sharing their time. If we could, we got this queued up, Mr. Campbell. Mr. Campbell, thank you very much for helping me out tonight. Today we were down in Augusta Preschool. Augusta Preschool is in Irvington, New Jersey. And our students go down. This is their third year now in a row. We're partnering with this school. And we have 85 students that went down, and they brought gifts and presents for preschool students that were age 3 and 4. And this is a little preview video for everybody to see. Can you see me, Priscilla? Mr. Campbell's buffering.
Emptied it.
In those giant garbage bags, there were over 100 presents that we bring down to the students. So this is the beginning part of it. We're going into the school here. So if you wonder what our students do every single day, these are the types of things that they do every single day. So not only in our local community, in our own local community, but down in Irvington, working with the school that will come up in the spring, and they'll partner with us. They'll come up in the spring, and they'll see a little bit of the musical. We'll do a little preview for them, and work with our pass-along students, and they'll have a chance to chat with them for a little bit as well. So a really, really great experience. The principal down there that we've come to know now for a little bit over the last couple of years, she said thank you for your presence, and she didn't mean the presents that we bought, and we brought a lot of them. Thanks to our generosity of our staff and many of our families, the presence of our students in the building. It really made a difference, and our kids got just as much out of it as the little 3- and 4-year-olds do. So you want to see, bring tears to your eyes and see Santa Claus, Mr. Fuhrer, a.k.a. Santa Claus, and Mrs. Claus, a.k.a. Mrs. Abrams. Lynn Abrams, one of our math teachers. They were the tandem. When they came in the room, nothing else mattered because Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus were there. So our staff, our students doing great things and give it to that. Jackie Sutton was the one that coordinated that. It's through passing along a group called Tilly's Kids. Pastor Tilly is the one that kind of is the big umbrella that oversees that. So Jackie Sutton coordinated. It's a large undertaking to do that. She did a fantastic job. So kudos to her and the students for spreading some holiday cheer. We were practicing, as you can see, we were practicing the opposite, we were unloading the bus, because on Thursday we're going to be loading the bus with food all over the building. We don't have any idea how much food we have. We have a lot. And we're going to be loading the bus for our local food pantry on Thursday morning, starting about 8:30. We had a little bit of snow last week, which was a little bit of a surprise for all of us. And that kind of threw a little bit of a monkey wrench in our plans, because Thursday was our fill the bus day. The county couldn't come any later, so they're coming on Thursday this week, and we're going to fill the bus. We look at it glass half full, glass half empty, and we had another week to get more food for our community. So we're using that, our fill the bus committee, at least as part of that, and many other students, there's about 20 students that coordinate that, have just worked their tails off. You saw talked about ShopRite and Walmart on a cold day. They're out there just asking for food. I heard so many positive feedback from community members saying the students really, they enjoyed being there, they knew what they're talking about, and they weren't just there to take donations. And part of that, they were there to communicate what they're doing and why they're doing it. So that's what it's all about as well. We had the district music night on District Music and Art Celebration Night, on the 18th. That's again a collaborative effort with all of our setting districts. This will be our third year of doing that as well. That's on the 18th in the auditorium at 7 o'clock. We have our 8th grade open house, which is a huge night for us here at High Point on January 11th. Refreshments will be starting about 5:45. You're all more than welcome to attend. Anybody here is welcome to attend. We'll start the program about 6:30 in the auditorium after we have our activity fair first. And that's open to all of our 8th grade setting districts, students and their parents. The second market period right now, barring any more snow, is about the 26th of January, so that will come fast after the holidays. A couple of student acknowledgements. Dylan Roach was acknowledged as an Eagle Scout about 2 weeks ago. I went to the ceremony in Lafayette Fire Department. And it really is an honor to be part of those ceremonies, and we do a proclamation for them and give the student those proclamations. It's really great to hear so many people speak about that student, from congressmen to local firemen to parents, and so we give a proclamation as well. So Dylan was the 4th one in his family to obtain Eagle Scout. All 3 of his brothers obtained Eagle Scout as well ahead of him, so he had a bar to live up to, and they made sure they remembered that. So that was nice to see all 4 of them up there and obtain that. I also have one for student Devin Riley that I'll be going to the middle of January. So that'll be our 3rd Eagle Scout this year since the beginning of the year. So again, something that's a huge accomplishment as well. We had the VEX Robotics Tournament on Saturday. We have about 40 schools, 38 schools that participated in that. And Mr. Matt Guerrero was the one that coordinated that and led that. And that was an all-day event from 7 o'clock till about 7 o'clock by the time we had cleaned up on Saturday. So that was a tremendous event. We also had some success in our hydrogen fuel cell competition, which took place last week. Mr. Paul Cardinal was the one that coordinated that from our tech department. We had first place craftsmanship was Dustin Flores, Tyler Ross, Harry Leslie, and Avi Marsh. First place engineering design, Dustin Flores, Tyler Ross, and Harry Leslie, and Avi Marsh. So they were very successful on both the craftsmanship and also engineering design. And 3rd place for craftsmanship was Jason Bush, Max Arnett, and Frank Roman. So very successful overall for our students. Again, being part of that experience, but also nice to be acknowledged when they know that they have done so well. Mr. Good, it's okay. I continue to the athletic report. Is that all right? Okay, just wanted to give the athletic report from Mr. Van Orden. I'm not going to read all league recipients because we had a lot of them. But I just want to give you some ideas for football. We had 12 overall, all league recipients, 5 for first team, 5 for second team, and 2 for honorable mention. Field hockey, we had 6 overall, 2 for first team, 3 for second team, and 1 for honorable mention. Cross country, we had 16 overall, huge successful season, 7 first team, 7 second team, and 2 honorable mentions, so kudos to cross country. Boys soccer, we had 5, 2 first team, 2 second team, and 1 honorable mention. Girls soccer, we had 6, 3 first team, 2 second team, and 1 honorable mention. And girls tennis, we had 6, 3 first team, 2 second team, and 1 honorable mention. So our fall season officially wrapped up, and the students were acknowledged for their successes individually as well. And that's just as important as the team successes. Winter sports has started, and we are fast approaching for many of those events that have taken place. Cheerleaders this past weekend took first place at the Jefferson tournament. So kudos to them, a fantastic tournament that they had. Took first place, trophies in the main office, always nicely prominently displayed on those new tournaments. Wrestling currently ranked 14th in the state. That's not bad. First place this past weekend, the Colt Classic, which was at Christian Brothers Academy. Very successful tournament that they had down there. And we had 5 wrestlers that were first place winners. Tom Hubmaster Devin Eagle, Brandon LaRue, Shane Kovas, and Grayson Stabler all took first place for the wrestlers, or wrestlers, depending on how you refer to them. Boys basketball is 1-1, girls basketball is 1-0. They also are preseason ranked at 19th in the state, so we have 2 teams in the winter sports that are in the top 20 in the state. That's very important to keep in mind. And swimming, boys are 0-1, girls are 1-0, and they're actually swimming tonight against Hope John. So they're in the pool right now as we speak. Ice hockey is 2-3, and bowling is 2-4, and those seasons start earlier. Ice hockey and bowling, and swimming, they start a little bit earlier, so that's why they had some more matches and meets already taking place. And one final note, Chad Musili, you may have heard of his name before. He is one of our best student athletes. Was selected as the Mini Maxwell Award winner for the 2nd consecutive year. He was selected last year as a junior, which is an academic and athletic award, and he's selected this year. Again, as a senior, there's only about 65 student athletes in the state that are recognized for that. So kudos to Chad for leading with his athleticism, but also, most importantly, with his academic endeavors as well. All right, a lot of information I know. Any questions at all?
You mentioned Chad Musili's academic
Yes.
achievements. You might want to mention what they are.
Chad, this is academic receipts. Max Preps, last month we talked about that. Max Preps Award that he received, which was, again, his 2nd time with that acknowledgement, and that's, again, an academic and also athletic based procedure. He was also one of the finalists for our Scholar Athlete programs. And him as well as Sawyer Finland was also recently recognized for an all-academic award. Chad's also on the all-academic team for the football team. And we always talk about student athletes are so important for our school and for our community, what they lead with athleticism and also their academic endeavors. So to be able to have a successful season like Chad had on the gridiron, but also be recognized as an all-academic team is quite an honor.
If I'm not mistaken, he's ranked fairly highly in this class.
He is ranked fairly highly in his class as well. He's currently #1 in the class. Not a bad thing. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you much. I appreciate your time.
Mr. Cable. Good evening. While I'm up here, I just thought I would demonstrate our technological capabilities real quick. If you look at our opening website, on the top of our website, you'll see 5 or 6 social media icons. The third one in right here, that's our live stream icon. One click on that. One click on that. And you are now transported to the main gym, high definition, streaming. Not a lot of action going on right now. So clearly there is some pressure on me to speak rapidly. That's it, 2 clips. Live stream, boom, and you're sitting home watching wrestling because you couldn't make it because it was snowing or something other urgent matter, for sure. But it's a state-of-the-art live stream program, and many of our events, athletic, graduation, you name it, Kevin Fenton does a phenomenal job with that, and we're incredibly proud of that technology. The holidays are upon us, so everywhere you look, our students and staff are doing fun, exciting things, getting ready for the spirit of the holidays. In October, 650 students took the PSAT. I'd like to thank the board for your support for that initiative. This was our 4th year of providing the PSAT to all students during the school day at the board's expense. And each year that we've done that, our SAT scores have risen. So we hope that that trend continues. Research shows us that the best way to prepare and succeed on a standardized test like that is exposure and experience. This is going on the website today, and what we're doing is we're trying to entice students. We're not just handing them a paper copy with their scores and saying, here you go, take it. We want them to log in, because through their College Board account, their PSAT scores will send them to Khan Academy, where they'll have customized practice based upon their strengths and weaknesses. It also has an array of resources that you can use. Further, every student needs to have a College Board account when they apply for college. Some students have a wrong password, they have 2 accounts, so we're kind of dangling the carrot saying your scores are in, if it's urgent, guidance has them, and guidance is called in and down gradually. But we want the students to engage with the platform because it is a valuable tool for them to improve. And that letter explains that. That is also on the website. Last week we had the 2nd AP night in several years. The teachers requested this. Our 18 AP teachers are incredibly passionate about what they do. And we had a night for students and parents to talk about our AP curriculum and our 33 courses, which is second to none in the county. Many schools will tell you how many courses they administer tests in. We have 33 courses in C where students are taking it. So you can have a student come to you and say, well, I really want to take a certain test, and if we don't offer the course, we can still give them the test. We have 33 AP courses that we're running. It is a phenomenal commitment to what we believe is the highest curriculum you can offer, and we believe is raising the climate of academics. Mr. Talame, Mr. Diodino, Ms. Jackadine, Mr. Drellick. The four of them in the last couple of years have really expanded our concurrent enrollment offerings. And at that event and at other times, we can explain to students through the course catalog exactly, when you see a course listed, we'll have a little C next to it, and then it will show you which college or university you can get credit right away through concurrent enrollment. So thank you to our AP teachers and our phenomenal program. If you look at our expansion, I've shown this before, but I showed this on AP night. I believe that that number 44 has long been an indicator of schools with a very ambitious college prep, academically rigorous climate. We were at, I think, 14%, that's it? 22%. So we've doubled the number of students that take at least one AP course. Our philosophy, I certainly am a huge proponent of it, is if you aspire to be a college graduate, and we offer 33 rigorous AP courses, you should be taking one or two. You don't necessarily need to take 12, but we want to see more kids try at least one as they pursue rigor and prepare for college. So we're very proud of our AP program. We received a grant from State of New Jersey Child Assault Prevention Program, which works in conjunction with the Center for Prevention. And through the grant, we will have a team of trainers that will come into High Point on 6 school days, and all 9th grade students through their health and phys ed classes will each receive 3 45-minute workshops on sexual assault, harassment, relationships, dating, etc. I have reviewed their curriculum and spoken to other schools that have had them. I've spoken to them personally about the content. I believe it's neutral, appropriate, and given our current climate in our country, quite relevant, and we're hopeful that that is a success. Our staff has been extremely responsive. There'll be a staff training during unit lunch one day for 20 or 30 teachers. There will also be a parent night where we offer this to the community and to any other teachers that are interested in attending. Obviously, it's a critical issue, and we're pleased at the timing of this program. Main issue to present to you this evening is our course catalog, which is on the agenda for your approval. For the second consecutive year, we have it in an interactive digital format known as Lucid Press, which we're really excited about. I love the shot. The cover shot this year is a drone image, which I think is a really nice image of our beautiful campus. I want to thank Sussex Rural Electric. They're so close that when we went there for 2 days to work on this, the radios worked. So if someone in phys ed needed to get into a locker, or Mr. Craig was calling someone, you actually got reception on your walkie-talkie. But what we said is, we kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. We said we need a couple days with no one around. And so Sussex Rural had us in, and we spent the better part of 2 days there, myself and Brian, Mr. Drellick, Mr. Diodino, Mr. Talame, and Mrs. Labrizzi. And it's amazing what you get done when you're kind of in a locker room for 2 days. So thank you to them for being a good neighbor. 2 things that we focused on in particular. First, career paths. What our top students are doing is unprecedented in our school's history. The number of students going to Ivy League schools, to West Point, to elite universities, and thriving is unbelievable. At the AP night, we rattled off instance after instance of students like your daughters who left High Point and they're already college sophomores. So they have preferential scheduling. They save a ton of money. Our top is absolutely thriving. We need to be more engaged in how we broaden our services to a wider swath of students. I know the board is passionate about this, as is the administration, staff, and the community. So we hope that our pathways is the beginning of us starting to link our world-class curriculum to careers. We have 5 pathways in this construct, and I put together some clip art, colorful icons that look like 1995, and someone said, you know, I bet our students could do a little bit better. So these came out great. There's our design team. Mr. Deeroff was amazing. What he's trying to do with his graphic design students is to have them use organizations within High Point as customers. So I thought we were going to go down, and Mr. Deeroff was going to show us the finished product, and we were going to pick the icons we want. Mr. Deeroff said, Nick and Morgan, this is Mr. Campbell, this is Mr. Diodino, I'll stand back and you present your idea. We didn't like many of the things they proposed. We wanted to change a lot of things. They asked us questions, we gave them feedback. They came back to us a second time. We said, we like this is good, we don't like this, I don't really think this is going to work. We came back to them a third time. And he really gave the students public speaking experience, interaction with adults, and a really real-world experience. And they came up with those icons. They put so much thought into the fact that they would be consistent, that the colors would balance, and those will be the symbols for each of our 5 pathways. The 5 pathways, which I'll explain a little further: law and government, business and human resources, media and the arts, systems and sustainability, and STEM. And in year 1, we do not want to lock students in and make them commit to a career path like declaring a college major. We want it to be very open, and we hope that over a 5-year period it grows into something more and more substantial. In year 1 is a communication tool for the scheduling process. We have hundreds of students who are excited about their possible career, and a curriculum that is second to none in New Jersey. We need to bridge the gap between what's your interest, what courses did you like, and what do you think you want to do for an eventual career. And so this is how the course catalog sequences those. For law and government, there will be subtopics, and all those things listed on the left are elective courses students can select. All those things on the right are careers which sync with those courses. You don't have to commit, you don't have to lock in, but our counselors say that many students come to them and say, I'm not sure what I want to take. And so the next question should be, well, what do you think you might want to do? And why don't you try perhaps a course like this that might fit into that sequence? Likewise, our electives and careers that they correspond with, electives and careers. This was amazing. They didn't really have, we came up with this yesterday. The one they really couldn't get to was systems and sustainability, made all these different ideas, and a student worked all day yesterday and today and kind of came up with this. And so it looked simple. It took a lot of hours for him to create that original image for this project. Again, electives and careers. This was also took a lot of time, and the students collaborated, and it was fun to see them work. So, pathways. It will be a communication tool to guide the selection of electives. It will be a focal point for career days. When speakers come in, we will have 1 or 2 speakers from each pathway trying to build an identity of that direction. We will ask teachers going on field trips to do a phenomenal job to enhance the field trip and add more of a career element to it. And ultimately, we hope it's a platform that grows more into a substantial interdisciplinary program where students feel a connection. We thought at one point about a senior capstone project where we asked students to pick a pathway and in 12th grade do an academic project that was brought together components of multiple electives. And that may be a direction we go in, but for starters, we want it to be very open and very not limited from the start. Our second major component. We've had students come to us in the last couple of years who are bright and driven, and they have a particular goal in mind. and the specific requirements that we had put into graduation requirements were blocking them. Two of the young men, Mr. Talon I mentioned before, near the top of the class, came out to my office and said, I want to go to this school and study this, and I want to take the 4th year of this course. I can't get there because of this requirement. And we want to advocate for those students. When I presented this to the staff, once each department presented it, I thought there was going to be some pushback because we reduce requirements in several areas. The feedback from the staff was extremely positive because and I'll just mention the 4 changes. This was announced last year. Our students average more than 4 years of social studies. Social studies has 4 major standards. One of those 4 is civics. Civics should be a component of health and phys ed, of science, of English literature, etc. So, as a former civics teacher, it hurts to see that sunsetting, but it is alive and well in our curriculum. 21st century seminar. This was a half-year requirement for 9th. The incoming freshmen will no longer have to take it. It began as a way to prepare students to use the computer for PARC. Then it became a tool to familiarize them with our Google platform. And simply we said, it's a nice course. I like the course. I like the common experience for the freshmen. But they felt restricted by that requirement. Fine and performing arts. No other high schools in our region, none, exceed the requirement that the state has of 5 credits in fine and performing arts. We had 7.5, as we just saw tonight. The arts are an incredible part of the human development. However, we don't want to box students in. We want to open and let them choose. And technology, we used to require a half year of technology in 9th grade. That requirement will be eliminated. Here's what the teachers like. If you look on the left, the student comes out of grade school. From K to 8, they have very little choice. They come to High Point, they see this curriculum is amazing, and they have 1 slot on the bottom that's open. So we're now doubling the slot as students come in. And what the teacher said is, I don't want an 11th or 12th grader who doesn't want to be in my art class. I want a 9th grader that I can build a relationship with and get them to level 3 or level 4 and guide their passion. So it's a big change. 135 doesn't change. The number of courses needed to graduate doesn't change, but the opportunity for students to select is increased. In math, it takes up a little bit of our time as administrators because it's so incredibly challenging for some students and so essential that they learn it. This year when students came in, students had 1 track for taking math over 2 years. And what we realized is a lot of our students who are more in the college prep A level would also benefit from having the option to take it over 2 years. So we've added an entry point for math students to come in if they select, and they can be in a college prep A level math concepts and applications, allowing more kids the option, not mandate, of having Algebra 1 over 2 years should they feel that to be essential. When I looked at this, I said it will probably look a little different next year. Algebra 1 is taught in 5 schools. All of our sending districts at High Point share this critical course, and we will probably continue to modify slightly as PARC and as that curriculum evolves. New courses, I'm almost done here. I appreciate everyone's patience. Some exciting courses that you'll see here, Makerspace, digital branding, managing your money, construction and manufacturing. We have these students that love the tech department. We don't have a course for them, but they just love the teacher and the course so much they want to take it a second year. We figured let's create a class for them if that's really where they want to be senior year. So those are some key new electives, and I'm wrapping up here. Wanted to show you just a few slides of our service, because as we talked about sunsetting civics, something that's hard, our community service is thriving. Students are planting the trees down the road. We're fundraising to get the water fountains. Mr. Baker's doing an amazing job like that. We have peer tutoring. Mr. Carlson is overseeing that, and that's a form of service. students baking cookies for hospice, our football players working with the youth program, our students and teachers going down and delivering an hour of code curriculum, toy drive for Project Self-Sufficiency, one of many toy drives. Pretty in Pink, I hope everyone can be there. Perhaps the marquee event of the winter, along with the Kid Thing Wrestling match, raises approximately $30,000 a year for cancer. That is a school-wide service effort. Our chamber singers have been all over the community, delivering their joy and their talents. And of course, Tilly's Kids Today, which was really just amazing. There's Mr. Fuhrer in there. So, thank you for your patience. I know it was a lot of material.
It's a lot of work to put it together, so I thank you guys for doing that whole curriculum thing. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Campbell, are you aware of any other school districts that you've heard about that offer Calculus 3?
No, Calculus 3, I don't know of any schools that that exceed Calculus BC on an AP level. So there's, it's pretty impressive. We anticipate 3 students next year, 3 students the following year. You have to be basically in like calculus in 7th grade to get there. So we kind of know who they're going to be. Mr. Kappelmeyer is amazing, and we believe that's an example of being student-centered. We have a gifted child who wants more rigorous math, and we have a rocket scientist who wants to meet with them and deliver it. So let's make it happen.
Thank you.
Move on to public comments on agenda items only. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, we will open the public comments for agenda items only. At this time, each speaker should state his or her name and address. You'll have 3 minutes to address the board, which is time by me. We will limit this section to no longer than 45 minutes. Be respectful and mindful that your comments are being recorded. Any comments on agenda items? Seeing none. Other business? Anybody got anything? None. We'll move on to action items. Mrs. Anderson.
Okay, curriculum and instruction. We were given the faculty attendance rate, the student attendance rate, and the suspension report for the month of November. So we've got that. I want to move items 4 through 10, starting with 4. It's recommended that the board approves the harassment, intimidation, and bullying report for this period of November 21st through December 19th. It is recommended that the board approves number 5, the professional development activities listed on attachment A5. It is recommended that the board approves the field trips listed on attachment A6A. It is recommended, number 7, this is a biggie, I'm going to read the whole thing, that the Board of Education approve the High Point Regional High School 2018-19 Program of Studies and Course Catalog, attachment A7, which we just got a little taste of. Number 8, Board of Education approves to accept the Target Field Trip Grant in the amount of $700. Number 9, the Board of Education approves the New Jersey CUSAC equivalency waiver. This is also a big deal. Extending our CUSAC certification as a high-performing district for 3 additional years, as per the law statute. Number 10, it was recommended that the Board of Education approve the memorandum of understanding between High Point Regional High School Board of Education and the New Jersey State Police in attachment A10. And that's it, 4 through 10. Move.
Second.
Questions? Rest of the book? Okay. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, just wanted a couple items.
Okay. No, go right ahead.
I would encourage anyone who wants to compare our program of studies and course catalog with any other district in the state, including the J districts, according to the District Factory Group. What we offer is exceptional to our community, and we're extremely proud of it, and the effort of the administration and the staff to put that together is indicative of our commitment to being great for our community. The equivalency waiver for the CUSAC, this is the second time we've received this in a row. The last time we received CUSAC evaluation, which is essentially the state coming in and giving you an administrative audit for everything that you do from the top down. The last time we had this was in 2011-2012. We received a waiver 3 years ago. We're receiving a waiver again I don't know that there's too many districts who have received consecutive waivers from the state. That is indicative of the degree of commitment we have to being successful, yes. And yes, please.
Nice, and CUSAC, the Department of Ed did a site visit, sort of a pre-CUSAC meeting, and they said that they could think of one other district in the state, they named Somerville, that they thought was as thoroughly prepared for their audit and their visit as we were. So it's really nice to get the waiver in.
That's
Want to point that out.
A lot of time.
That's administrative. That's administrative. You guys get those boxes checked and take care of everything so that the staff can teach it. So good job.
There's a lot of time that government has acronyms that we really don't understand. This is one that is extremely important. And the last time it was done, it was incredibly invasive and it took a lot of time, months of work. And to be able to have a waiver twice is something about which we're very proud. And I think the board should be proud and the community should be proud as well. And finally, the memorandum of understanding keeps us once again, I think, as the on the cutting edge and the leader in school security in the county and in the state, due to Kevin Craig, our Director of Safety and Security, and the work that he does in coordination with state law enforcement and around the state. This is something else that no other district can really boast of, the degree of personnel and programs that we have in security, about which I think we should also be proud. So thank you for your indulgence.
Anything else? Roll call?
Mr. Keough?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boyku?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro? Yes. Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Veely?
Yes. Personnel, Mr. Dunn.
Yes. Before I move item 1, I'd like to correct what is an apparent typographical error in the date. It should read February 12th, 2017, not February 22nd. So, that means of 2018, yes, this is 2 typographical errors.
Thank you.
So, that being corrected, I'd like to move item 1. It is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education accepts with regret the resignation of Amy Labrizzi, Assistant Principal for Guidance and Student Services, effective February 12, 2018, or before, once coverage is in place. Seeking a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on that?
Yes. You can also speak about this now, because Amy Labrizzi, how long has she been here?
22 years.
22 years. Made her mark in the classroom in a big way. She's just everybody's favorite Spanish teacher. And if you didn't want to take Spanish, you took it because Ms. Labrizzi was teaching it. And she gave out Brizzy bucks. If you did well, then you got Brizzy bucks and you could trade them in for homework. And her picture was on it. And this is probably inappropriate, but my husband wanted to confiscate all my kids' Brizzy bucks because Amy's picture was on it. She's so darn cute. So she's just been fabulous for her students from the get-go. And then she brought that fabulous student advocacy into the main office. And we are going to miss her smile and her positive attitude. And I wish her all the best in her new position. You're up.
Again, voicing those same sentiments, an exceptional educator who can look back at her career high point and know without equivocation that she had a profound impact on a generation of children in this community, and that this community is a better place for Amy Labrizzi having been an educator here. And not only are the students and the community a better place, but she enhanced the staff with whom she worked, and we were all better for having her here. And it was an honor to work with her for these last 20 years, and she will be missed, even as she's going to a sending district where she will not be far. Mr. Talman, would you like to say anything?
Yes, if I could, I just want to say, wish her the best of luck as she moves on to the next chapter in her administrative career. She will be sorely missed, not only as an educator and as a leader, but as a pillar of our building, and the things that Amy was involved on an everyday basis. Just too many things to list. But she has been a leader in every facet of what she's done, from a field hockey coach when she first came in to a Spanish teacher, as Mrs. Anderson has said it to an assistant principal now for the past several years. So kudos to her. Wish her the best of luck, and we will miss her for sure. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Fortune?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to move then items 2, 3, 4, and 5. Item 2 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves the appointment of Luis Blanco as custodian effective on or about January 20, 2018 at step 2 on the 2017-2018 custodian salary guide, $40,410 plus $950 shift differential annually prorated for the hours as listed and days as listed, pending receipt of all required paperwork, including criminal history clearance. Item 3 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education revise the September 19, 2017 appointment of Serena Ayers as a long-term substitute teacher of science to reflect an end date of December 31st, 2017, and approves the appointment of Serena Ayers as a teacher of science effective January 1st, 2018 for the remainder of the 2017-2018 school year at MA Step 11, $81,705, prorated on the 2017-2018 teacher salary guide. Item 4 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves a 6-period assignment for the 2017-2018 school year. Kirsten Sable as an RTI math position for second semester. And finally, item 5 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approve the substitutes listed below for the 2017-2018 school year. Catherine Westerfield as a substitute school nurse effective 12/5/17. Seeking a second on the item.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Questions? Seeing none?
Mr. Fortune?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
No on 4, yes on 2, 3, and 5. All right, extracurricular. Recommended that the Board of Education approve the 2018 Play Pink basketball classic fundraiser and related activities scheduled to be held on January 20th, 2018, attachment C1. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Get ready to go.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Fortune?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes. Policy, Mr. Dunn.
I will move the only item, number 1. It is recommended by the superintendent the Board of Education approves the second reading of the following new policies and regulations. Policy 7101, educational adequacy of capital projects and associated regulation 7101. Policy 7102, site selection and acquisition and the associated regulation 7102. And regulation 7300.2, disposal of land.
Second.
Any comments, questions on those policies? Okay. Seeing none.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Fortune?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes. Negotiations, even though it says there are none, we met with the HPRHS today. We look forward to working things out with you in a very quick manner and efficient manner. So, look forward to working with you. Buildings and grounds, Mrs. Anderson? Oh,
In the upstairs room, because we were running out of time.
all right. So there are no buildings and grounds. Finance. I would like to group items 1 through 6. Number 1 being recommended that we accept the report of the board secretary and the business administrator for November 2017, attachment G1. 2, recommended that we accept the report of the treasurer for the month of November 2017, attachment G2. Number 3, recommended that we accept a report of transfers and minimum expense transfer report for the month of November 2017, attachments G3, G-A, and G3B. Number 4, recommended that the board approve the payment of the attached schedules of audited bills dated December 19, 2017. 4, Number 5, recommended that we accept agency accountable education athletic account, cafeteria account, principal petty cash, school store, and student accounts for November 2017, Attachment G5. Number 6, recommended that we approve the weeding out from our media center, the library books on the attached list.
That should be.
Yeah, I was gonna
seven, I
say,
think.
all right, so let's move on to 1 through 7. Number 7, be it resolved that the board approve the following tuition contracts between High Point Regional High School sending and the following districts and related information as listed. Seeking a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on 1 through now 7? All right, roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro? Yes. Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn? Yes. Mr. Voight?
Yes.
Mr. Veely?
Yes. All right, transportation, Mr. Miller.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So, this will be quick. I'd like to move items 1 and 2. Number 1, it is recommended that the board approves the following to and from quoted route to the contractor with the only quote for the 2017-18 school year. That's by Bob Baldwin Transportation, HPQ 17-08. Item number 2, it is recommended that the board approves the following quoted contracts for the trips for the 2017-18 school year. The first 2 are by Stocker Bus Company for athletic field trips, the Q16, 17, 18, and 19. And the third is for Stocker Bus Company for field trip Q20. And the fourth is for Craft School Bus for field trip Q21. Seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland? He's not here. Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Voight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Veely?
Yes. Correspondence, we have none before us. Miscellaneous, anybody have anything? I heard you read
Do you want to
it.
accept that letter of correspondence?
We can, I don't have it to read. Did you bring the letter with you?
We just got this evening.
Let's back it up to correspondence. You have it.
I do.
We received a letter from the Borough of Sussex. It says, "Dear Mr. Veely, board members, on behalf of your sending district, Sussex Borough, this letter serves to voice the opinion of the Borough Mayor and Council regarding renegotiation of High Point Regional High School Superintendent's contract. For the record, the Borough of Sussex objects such action, particularly so soon after the contract's expiration. In these times of significantly declining student enrollment, perpetually rising school taxes, and financially struggling families, retroactive and future increases of the superintendent's compensation and an extension of the contract are directly counter to the interest of our residents and taxpayers. Thank you for consideration. Michael Ressel, Administrator, Borough of Sussex." In response to that, I say we cannot discuss personnel matters with anyone for any reason. So, we will now move on.
Good.
Now,
No,
still on.
no.
Anybody else have anything? Move on to public comments on anything. The same rules apply. Step to the podium, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. I'll time it, and we'll limit it to 45 minutes. So what? Okay. On-committee board member reports and comments.
Yes.
I was wondering
At
if
the
you were
risk
gonna-
of extending the meeting. Actually, there are 2 items. First item is, I think it would be appropriate to recognize that 4 of our members were present at the New Jersey School Boards Association, County School Boards Association meeting about regionalization and consolidation. And that's a pretty good showing that 4 of our members saw fit to take time out and go attend this of their own volition. I also like to recognize that I believe there were a number of our own faculty that also attended. I recognize 2 faces here, Lieutenant Cuso and Mr. Kapler, and I believe there were at least 2 others. So, contrary to what may be printed in papers and what the public believes, I think there are members of our board and members of our community, faculty and community, that we all have a shared interest in this, and we listened intently and took what we could from that. and I'm sure that discussion is going to continue. Much to say else beyond that. The other item is there apparently is going to be a new shopping center in Sussex and Wantage. And you may ask, what does this have to do with school boards at all? Well, I attended the Wantage Committee meeting this past week, and Sussex Borough and Wantage Township have entered in an agreement with an LLC, 285 Urban Renewal is LLC is the name of the organization, that has been designated by both of the municipalities eligible for receiving urban renewal status. And because they have that status, they are eligible to submit for a pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. So there is an agreement in place. I guess it was just voted on by both of these municipalities. And there are some financial arrangements, I guess, that have to be worked out. But the long and short of it is the effect that I'm concerned about is what does it mean for schools in our communities? And yeah, I believe the agreement is publicly available now. It's a 30-year payment in lieu of taxes. Public may not be aware, but what that means is that this organization pays to the municipalities a fixed amount for those 30 years. It's fixed, but it's an incremented, increasing amount. And in lieu of paying assessed taxes. So assessed taxes are normally paid to the municipality and then redistributed to municipality, county government, and predominantly in our area and predominantly in the state, schools. With the payment in lieu of taxes, they escape anything going to the schools. 95% of it is earmarked for municipality use, and 5% of it is then remitted to the county. As a taxpayer in one of these communities, I'm happy because in some way it should reduce taxes for the average taxpayer. I don't know what it means for schools, and I guess I put it out there as sort of a notice that I think we need to be involved as much as we can, understanding of all of this and how it may affect us going forward. I mean, thankfully, it's not a housing development that could end up putting kids in our system without having them funded in any way, shape, or form. It is just a shopping center. So, just a point of information, and I'd encourage members of the board and the public to educate yourselves on it, because it may have some effect somewhere. That's it.
And what was said at that school board meeting, you know, the basic gist after what, 2 hours, 1.5 hours, was that the panel consisted of 5 individuals involved in various positions around the state, and what their conclusion, it seemed to be at the end of the meeting, was that there would be 2 reasons for a regionalization: to align curriculum to better the education of children, or to cut taxes. You can't do both, and you're probably not going to do one, and that means cut taxes. So that being said, it goes back to our original conversation that some of us had with Senator Orho and Assemblyman Space, that shared services would be the way to go. So saying that, in lieu of some comments that were made last month, regardless of your feelings, that's apparently the way to go. So if you're looking to save money. So, yeah, that being said, I guess I'll just put that back right there. Anybody got anything else? All right, we'll move on to other business. Anybody? Seeing none? Need a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we're out.